And last but not least, let's
Okay,
talk
so
about Army of Thieves, which
which I did not
Ricardo, you
watch.
did not see.
Nope, because I barely tolerated Army of Dead or whatever that thing that Michael Bay did. No, Zack Snyder. No,
No,
Snyder.
no, Zack Snyder, not
Zack
Zack
Snyder did.
Snyder,
Sorry.
not to be
Yeah.
confused with
Right.
Michael B. Right.
So I didn't watch it. I knew this was coming. I didn't care. Take it away, Matthew.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? Just to get this out of the way. If you didn't care for Army of the Dead, you are not going to care for this movie at all, right? This is clearly for fans of Army of the Dead, sorry, and for people who kind of saw the glimpse, little potential that was in that film, right? Because what this is, just to kick things off, right? This is well, I should say a pure heist film, right? What I mean by pure is that, well, Army of the Dead technically was a heist film, but set during a zombie apocalypse, right? So the whole thing was about, oh, well, we're gonna break into this Las Vegas casino because this Japanese mobster guy who played by Scorpion, the actor who played Scorpion in Mortal Kombat, I forgot his name, hired all these mercenaries and individuals, and this particular safecracker, which you're gonna get into in a bit now, to break inside. Well, sorry, not even break inside, to get inside because at at well, during the events of that film, that was more or less the haven for like this large group, this band of rootless zombies, right? So they had to basically just get their way inside and break their way. Well, sorry, unlock the safe or whatnot, and just get all this cash before, which I hated in this show. This missile which was launched towards Las Vegas, you know what I mean? So they had to get all that now before that missile dropped, right? But whatever, right? Yeah, so this story actually takes place 6 years before Army of the Dead, right? Which I find to be
Right,
pretty
right, right.
weird because
So where did zombie apocalypse
surprise,
started?
surprise, the zombie apocalypse has already started.
Okay,
So in
so
my
that
head,
yeah, that
I
makes no
yeah,
sense. Yeah, I thought it
I
had
know.
spread faster. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah, but I could be wrong with the
6 years or
6 years.
6 months. 6 years or 6 months.
It's probably months, it's probably yeah, fall under it's probably months, right? But I don't think there was like an actual title card to state when it took place, right? Because I'll get to a slight spoiler when they actually, well, I should say, let me say now, when they actually get to the events of Army of the Dead, they say sometime later, right? But anyway, right? So we center the character of Ludwig Dieter, right, who is played by Matthias, I'm not gonna even pronounce his surname, right? He actually is, well, not just the actor in this film, the lead actor. He's also the producer and director of this film.
Okay.
So yeah, he doing triple duties here, man. So yeah, props, man. So yeah, Zach gave him the green light. So yeah, he do his thing right. So I can't complain about that. But anyway, so you basically see his early days in Germany, right? Because as we know, Ludwig is German, right? He actually has a YouTube channel which is about which is the main topic is about safe cracking, and I will lie though I kind of relate to because he's doing this vlog style thing now, and like as he uploads the video, he's like refreshing to see if anybody checks it out, and he gets like 1 2 views, and he's like, okay, well, all right, that's my life. And he just kind of shuts the laptop off and goes to bed. And I was like, sigh. I can relate to that, right? Anyway, so he through this weird circumstance, he runs into the character of Gwendolyn Starr, who is played by McGill Natalie Emmanuel, right? Which I'm
Right.
sorry to say was the reason why I watched this film because she's in it,
Okay. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And she fit. Yeah. She already the Fast and Furious movies. Like, yeah, okay, that makes some sense.
Exactly, right. And
Right.
this really is her true showcase to show, and I just gotta say this right off the bat, that she has a future in action films though. Like I really
Right.
do see her starring in more action films in the near future. I would love to see that, right? But yeah, so not surprising, she is part of this crew of this heist crew basically, right? So of course, sorry, we have the hacker. Her name is Corina. She's played by Ruby Ofi, who at the moment is the real life girlfriend of Matthias. So, props to you, right? We have the tough guy, the muscle, who calls himself Brad Cage. Yes, it's a moniker he has because when it comes to these heist films, you always have the one scene or the montage that shows how they were at a young age, right? So this particular individual was obsessed with with American action films, but this guy actually was influenced by Nicolas Cage films. So yeah, there's a shot of him
Right.
watching Con Air of all shows, right?
Right.
That's why he came up with the name Brad Cage, right? We have Ruff, who is the getaway driver, because we have to have the getaway driver, right? He is played by Guz Khan, and while I was watching him, like actually in real life, he's of Pakistani Punjabi descent, right? Muslim, right? But I swear, like there were moments where I was like watching him and the way how he was talking, and I swear like he have a bit of Caribbeanness inside of him, like it sounds about the way how he talks at times. It has a bit of a Caribbean twang to it. You know what I mean? But that's just me. That's why I noticed, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
plausible. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, that's a team right there. And the plan is because it relies on you remembering the events of Army of the Dead, right? But they kind of remind you, right? So basically, remember in Army of the Dead there was this particular safe. It has this
Right.
German name. It's based off of this opera from Wagner, right? It's this long
Wagner.
opera
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot the name of it, right? But basically there's four of those thieves, right? And actually there's actually a really great backstory that narrated by Ludwig, which talks about the history of it. A really great backstory. I would say one of the best moments of the show, right? So that last one, which was in Army of the Dead, was believed to be lost, right? But they
Right.
don't really explain it, but through some circumstances is there in Las Vegas, right? But point is, the first three are in different areas in Europe. So I think one's in Paris, the other one's in the Czech Republic, and the other one
Czech
is in
Republic. Right. Yeah.
Czech Republic, sorry, and the other one is in Sweden, I believe it was, right? So the goal is to, yeah, just break into those safes now, and slight spoiler and bit of a disappointment. Not so much steal every dollar bill from those safes, but just kind of come out of it knowing that yes, we were able to break into three of the most legendarily impenetrable safes in history. And we have that, we have that as part of our resume basically before the world turns to shit because of the zombie apocalypse. And that's pretty much it, right? Of course, when it comes to these movies, you have the well, in this case, you have the Interpol guy, who is hunting these guys down, and he's been following them for months now. It's like, oh, I know you because you were in this job, and you were in this Italian job, haha, badoops, or something like that, right? So I'm gonna track you down, haha, and it's the try to be one step ahead of the anti-heroes and all that good stuff, right? And I'll stop here, right? So if all of this sounds familiar to you, it's because it pretty much is. Yeah. If you've seen one heist film in your life, you've pretty much seen Army of Thieves. You kind of know where the story is gonna go. If you're familiar with stuff like the Italian Job,
Right. Right.
or the Ocean's trilogy, or quite recently Lupin, right? If you're familiar with those shows, Dred, then you just kind of know what to get to, right? It is, just these European locations, and I would say one of the big sells of this movie here is the mostly European audience. Sorry, cast. You have British, you have French, Swedish actors. I think there's a couple of Swedish actors as well too, but mostly British, French, and German, actors in it, right? Very rarely you would see an American actor or two. I think they were well, sorry, they are, which I wouldn't say where or who, but they are, right? So you kind of get the sense instantly of what it's about, what he just says, right? But the sell of this is the lead himself, right? Ludwig, right? And I would say if you liked him in Army of the Dead, you'll enjoy him here. But the thing is with me now is that because I cared little about the characters of Army of the Dead, I just kind of saw this guy. I was like, all right, well, he's charming, yes. He's a likable goofball, yes. he cracks, he's awkward. He's socially awkward, and he can explain why. But at times he would say and do things that just make you roll your eyes. He would see some, I just be like,
Yeah,
ugh.
yeah.
It's
I
that
my
type
thing
of
is,
character.
I knew they was gonna do more with him because they were hyping up him too much now. Like it's too much. You have too much screen time. You have too much jokes. It's that. That's why I didn't really nothing about it was that surprising. No.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He even does that. Like, okay, so they kind of set up that he's a coward, and even with all this story and development, all that kind of stuff like that, sorry to say, it still ends with him being a coward. You know what I mean? Like he does take a little action at times. Like he does take action, right? But like, okay, so slight spoiler is a moment where he throws a punch, and then when he throws the punch, he's like, ah, you know what I mean? Like screaming like that. It's played for laughs, but you just kind of roll your eyes like, oh gosh, well, like y'all really take him yelping like a little schoolgirl is supposed to be funny. Like it wasn't funny the first couple of times you use it here. It wasn't funny when it was in Army of the Dead, especially when he was teamed up with I forgot homeboy's name, the black guy, the muscle, right? Yeah, it didn't really work with me. It worked then, and it doesn't work now. So sorry, it just didn't work for me. But again, if you like the character, well, I guess you just find him to be the most hilarious thing ever, right? But he's likable. I'll give it that much, and he does hold the film down together, right? And I must say, from a directorial
Right.
perspective, he do his thing. Like he really did impress, man. I must say, it just felt really professional, just very slick. Um, I will say there's a few title cards that just maybe grown. When it
Right.
comes when it comes to shows like this, they do world hopping, right? As it's called, right? So they always have that I forget what you call that technique where you have the titles integrated into the shot, so it feels like it's part of the shot, like it's an actual part of the landscape, basically. It's that David Fincher panic room thing, but they adapted here. Yes, so they do that, but I just felt like those title cards just look really cheap. You know what I mean? It just had me like, ugh, every time I saw them. You know what I mean? But that's just my nitpick, right? Um, and as well, I would say with Natalie Emmanuel, I thought that she was great in this too. I mean, she is very very likable, I must say though, and
Right.
she actually held her own, man. Like she did actually a few really really dope action scenes. I mean, yeah, they do some some camera work around to kind of
Right.
like editing the camera work stuff,
Well, I
but
see.
still you
The
could
the take
tell.
on the take on problem. Yeah, I know.
No, well, not too much. Not too much of it. You,
Okay.
you
Right.
could
Okay.
tell what's being done and whatnot. But
Right. That's
from
reasonable.
what I've seen, because there was a little behind the scenes stuff for which is show during Tudum, right? The online event, right? And yeah, it's not the like throwing blows, like for real. Yeah. So and she does have the look, right, to be in an action films. And it's amazing that she pretty much got that break, that action break, I would say, from Fast Furious 7, right? And she just stuck with it. So I am really like excited. Like, I really think that she has a bright future as far as just doing action films, right? I would love to see her actually like lead a film, right? But for now, this is what we get, right? um Supporting cast is good for what they are, but unfortunately, outside of Ludwig and Gwendolyn, I felt like everybody else was just the caricature, sorry, but it just felt like cliches, right? So you have the hacker, right? And yes, she's socially awkward as well. There's actually a moment involving her trying to hit on Ludwig, right? Like literally, right? But of course, not surprising, Ludwig has eyes for Gwendolyn, and I don't blame him. You know what I mean? So it's like that, right? Brad is the jealous boyfriend of Gwendolyn, so you kind of know how that's gonna go, especially when Ludwig comes in. Rolf is the comic relief, so you kind of know what to expect there. But really, like as far as like really cliche character though, had to be that Interpol guy Delacroix. That's his name, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, just cookie cutter. We have to get these guys, and they're gonna be at this casino, and we have to stop them. And we chasing after them, and then cursing, and every time he loses them, it's just that been there, done that. We always have to have that character. Like like most recently we saw it with Lupin, right? That
Yeah.
same
Right.
archetype, right? And yeah, here I mean, not knocking the actor do, but just character-wise, it was just the same old. And I
Right.
think what made it even more awkward and annoying was just the fact that he was an American, not just the actor, of course, but just the fact that he was trying to speak English. That's all I'll say. It just made it just way worse to stomach, right? Um, as far as where the story goes, nothing spectacular, or nothing really wow me. You just kind of watch it, and it entertains you, right? It's like I say, very well made. Hans Zimmer actually composed the score for this. I was like, what? Okay. All right, Hans. All right, I know you and Zach is buddies. I know he pushed it to a limit with BVS, but all right, I didn't know they was still working together, so to speak. You know what I mean? But he does a great job in terms of just making the music feel very light, very adventurous, very fun, right? And it's quite interesting, see that this is a prequel to a pretty dark, but still humorous though, zombie heist film with Army of the Dead, right? So it's pretty interesting. As far as linking it to the zombie apocalypse though, like they do make the effort to kind of let you know, yeah, this is the sea world, right? So this is basically in the early stages of it. So of course it's in the States. Um, but for the life of me, I couldn't remember in Army of the Dead if the outbreak spread to other parts of the world, or especially Europe, right?
Right. I can
Um,
follow. I can
I,
follow
I, I
the
don't
logic
remember.
either. Yeah.
Yeah, because they really
I
did
can
set
follow
it
it.
up like it's only in the States, well, specifically in the Nevada area, wherever it is. You know what I mean? I could be wrong. I can't remember, right? And that show was like what, months ago?
Well,
That's
yeah,
probably,
it was they were transporting something. It escaped. I think they were transporting like the virus affected like military people. So so Las
right.
Vegas was like the main thing, like the main
Yeah,
country because it went to Las Vegas first, and they
yeah,
cordoned off Las Vegas. So like I can understand why it is that the virus would have started in terms of the news. But you say 6 years though, right? It had to be 6 months. Like I don't think it's
yeah.
six.
It had to be, but then
Right.
again, because I'm just yeah, I swear they said 6 years or 6 months. I honestly can't remember, right? But yeah, they do some interesting, I would say, bits of foreshadowing in terms of what would happen to Ludwig in Army of the Dead,
Right. Right.
involving zombies, as all we'll say. And I actually kind of appreciate it for what it is in terms of reminding the audience, yes, it's in the same universe, right? But at the same time, I would have just kind of removed them. And this is like one of the weirdest things about this show, right? That this is what makes it kind of hard to really critique, right? Because at its heart, it is a very basic by the numbers heist film, right? But the catch is it's set in this world of Army of the Dead, right? But it kind of trusts you to know about Army of the Dead for you to really give a shit, right? Because sorry, like the whole zombie stuff is just background noise. It's just kind of just there to just as a reminder, but ultimately it really doesn't matter because it's not really about that, right? And like I don't know, like I just feel like what would have made it work though, and just simple little narrative, little tweaks. Let the zombie apocalypse itself take place in Germany, wherever it is, right? But not full blown as it was in Vegas and Army of the Dead, right? But just the early beginnings of it, right? So, like on the brink of it, basically. So literally minutes away from them achieving their job, the goals and whatnot, people are already getting infected. That would have make sense, right? But they not take it away from the heist stuff. And I understand that they wanted it to be like a pure heist film and not be about zombies. But again, it's the same world, right? So, it's one of those give and take things, right? But at the end of the day, it really is for the fans. It's really for people who really enjoyed Army of the Dead. Sorry, and I know there have some people who enjoyed it. And you too. We didn't really care for it though. Like premise wise, I would
Yeah.
say like
Yeah.
premise wise, it is one of the most original quote unquote zombie ideas you've seen in a while. Sorry, set pieces or premises, I must say, right? But still, it just didn't capitalize on it too much, though. It took itself way too seriously. It ran way too long, and I just didn't care for the ending at all. I just felt it was just too bleak for the sake of it. Like, oh, it's a zombie film, so we have to end things bleak. But no, not exactly. Like, you don't have to. Like, make it fun. Don't just make it fun and then just stop at the end and oh, people are dying, so now you should care. Like, come on, like stick to a tone, stick to a feeling. I felt I didn't do that. With here though, with Army of Thieves, however, they made things fun, and I'm there like, all right, so why the previous film could have been like this? That
Right.
seemed similar, not seen whimsical or whatnot, but have a sense of fun and adventure. Now. With Army of the Dead, it was just all super serious. Never so often we'll drop jokes, but the jokes fall flat, and we don't care about the characters and all that kind of stuff, right? So at the end of the day, I guess if you enjoy heights films, you'll enjoy this. If you like seeing these super smart thieves, be one step ahead of the Interpol and the FBI and the police, then you'll enjoy this, right? But in no way that this is this film doing anything spectacular or new or different. And I guess the only sell is that, well, it's during a zombie apocalypse, but even that and all too don't really add up to anything because that's just in the background, and it's flat out forgettable though. And it's almost to the point you could have just removed this altogether and it wouldn't have even mattered. That's
Right.
to
Right.
show just how insignificant it was too. But I already said how that could have been fixed. Like, let the zombie stuff be part of this world already. But I think the real reason why it is, the real reason behind this, before I get to read it, is a budget thing. Because the zombie stuff that you do see is basic zombie stuff. It's not like big budget, like see how Army of the Dead was, where you just saw hundreds of zombies. It's just like in this case, you see like a news clip, and you just take one or two or three or four zombies biting someone, and you just see it for like a short period of time, right? Or the moments involving well, I should just say, like, slight spoiler, dream sequences with Ludwig, right? And him dreaming about being killed by zombies, right? That's it, right? So other than that, like, I feel it's just a budget thing. Like, we just couldn't spend so much money, so we kind of keep things small scale, or we just kind of keep the zombies to the background. So I feel it's like that, right? Like, they just didn't want to give Matthias that much money as far as to
Right. Right. Right.
make this film. I feel it's that. But with this, well, remember, this is part of a franchise, right? So apparently, the next one we're getting is Planet of the Dead.
Oof. All right. Well.
Oof,
And
oof.
you
That's
and you
that's.
will review it.
Uh... No, I just love the fact that you just give up on this franchise, and
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
soon
Long
as the
time.
first movie come out,
Long time. Long time. Long time.
you're not even gonna
But the
give
thing
this
is,
another
because
chance. For you, like,
if
wow.
okay, here's the thing. I might get a blind if Snyder was still involved. Like if Snyder was it was Snyder thing, maybe. But
Right,
like
agreed.
it's just these side people are Snyder. Come no man.
Agreed. And well, okay, well, in this one, well, this upcoming one, Zach is gonna be directed it. So
Okay. I might
for one
watch it.
thing, I do expect it to follow up from Army of the Dead, especially with the way how it end. And I wanted to stick to its theme because, yeah, Army of Thieves, it did stick to the theme, which I guess is the
Right.
point. But at the same time, it just kind of underwhelms because of that. But whatever. But again, if you're a fan of the original movie, you'll enjoy this. But I imagine the people who enjoy the first film might just come out of it like, they're seeing this. This honestly could have been just a random heist film. Like, it didn't need to be part of this universe, but I guess it was because it was, right? So I guess you had to take it as it is. So rated wise, strong 2.5 to a light 3 out of 5, man. It is what it is. If you want to see it, see it. It really doesn't add a lot to the world of Army of the Dead. I guess what it does is just really shows you why Ludwig was the perfect person that's really what the movie is about. It's just really to show why Ludwig is such an awesome safecracker, why he's the best safecracker in the world, and that's
Right.
really
Right.
it. Nothing really
Okay.
much, right?
Right. Right.
So, okay, I guess if you really enjoy safecracking or the world of safecracking, you will appreciate this film. Yeah, but again, if you've seen one heist film in your life, you've seen this, you know where the story is gonna go. It really doesn't do anything interesting or spectacular. It thinks, or at least it assumes, that because it's set in the world of Army of the Dead, that should make things interesting. But no, because everything else is just so straightforward and just like, yeah, been there, seen that. It's just like, you could have just removed the zombie stuff and it wouldn't have even mattered. You wouldn't have even missed it. That's just how it is. So if you care to see it, see it. But I know for me, I gotta forget this in about a couple days or so. But I am curious to see where this franchise goes, man. And like I said before, I want to see Natalie Emmanuel star in more action films and just kick more ass. And Matthias really come true as a great director, man. So I want to see him
Right,
make
right.
more films in the future. But as far as this Army of the Dead franchise thing is, I don't know. Like it should have just been a one-off movie and done. But remember, this is from the guy who gave us, the Justice trilogy, right? And could have given us more, but thankfully that didn't play out like that, right? So I guess this is his next his next opportunity at making a real franchise. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that plays out, right?
Right, right.